and it was time for the pastor to come and preach to the congregation. I was pressing my phone and my friend tapped me to look at something, only for me to raise my head to see the most shocking thing I have ever seen in my life. My client, who to me is the baddest man I have ever come across, is a pastor with even a wife and children. Hello brother, I'm a lady who is in my early 30s, and what I'm about to reveal to you is about my own life and the things that I've done together with some respected men of God in the society. This is not something I was told, but rather my experience. When I say my experience, what I mean is that I used to be a commercial sex worker and a stripper at a nightclub in the capital city. During my time as a commercial sex worker, I came in contact with a lot of people from different walks of life and different positions in the society. This amongst them was shockingly men of God who goes about parading themselves as saints and go to their congregation as people who are not even close to sin. The thing that I realized in my time in this business is that the pastor that I came in contact with in my line of business were even much worse, and we are ready to do anything when it comes to you satisfying them in bed. And even when they come to the nightclub, they were the ones in front seats when you are dancing. It all happened when I moved into the city as a very beautiful and attractive young lady who had come freshly into the city to make ends meet and to give some money to my people back home. I have completed senior high school, and because I didn't pass all my exams, I couldn't get admission into the university, and money to receipt for the exam was not even available. I came to the realization that even if I was able to pass my exam, there was no way I could actually enter the university to study because of lack of funds. That was when I came to the conclusion to travel to the city to hustle and make something of myself and my family as well. After my senior secondary school, I had stayed home and helped my mother on a farm for quite some time. I think I spent 3 to 4 years with her on the farm, helping and making sure there was something small to also see the younger ones through school. So one evening, I sat my mother down after eating and told her that I wanted to join my friend in the city to hustle so that we can push forward a little with what I will be making. Deep within me, I was fed up with the life we are living in the village. I couldn't see any future for any of my siblings and myself, so I had decided to make a decision to go to the city and search for work. When the time came for me to go to the city, I called a friend of mine who was also living in the city that I was coming, and I wanted to know if she can accommodate me for some time. She agreed to do it and asked me to come. She was extremely happy to hear from me, and just like that, I bade my family goodbye and left for the city. She was at the bus station waiting for me when I got to the city. She took me to her single-room apartment that she was occupying. She was living good. Everything seemed to be working for her perfectly because everything I was seeing in her room was on point, and it looked like someone who was getting enough money from her work. So in my mind, I made the right decision to come to the city because very soon I can go back and bring my siblings with me when I also get money to rent my own place. I didn't want to continue living in the village and waste their time there. She had already told me of the kind of work she does. She told me that she was a waitress at a bar, and she said good things about working as a waitress there because she said that people do give you money when you serve them well and politely. She promised to talk to her boss to allow me to work in her bar as well. In about 2 weeks later, she told me I should go and see her boss. When we went there, the boss was a lady, and my friend introduced me as her younger sister who is in need of a job and that I was ready to serve in her bar. She asked my friend if she had explained to me the nature of the work, and she said she had told me everything. So the woman told me that she will put me on probation to see how hard I will work before she can completely employ me. Then we talked about my payment structure, That is how I started working as a waitress in my probation time as a waitress. Then we talked about my payment structure. That was how I started working as a waitress. One thing I realized was when we close from work around 8 p.m. that is the time my friend always leave the house. Around 10 to 11 p.m. each night, she would tell me that I should lock the door because she will return in the morning. When she returns in the morning, she won't come to the bar until around 5 in the evening that day. I began to wonder, what was she always doing at that time when she goes out? And my biggest question was how she can come to work around 5 p.m. She wasn't the only one that was coming to work at that time. It happened that I started noticing that pattern with almost all the ladies who work as waitress in the bar. Apparently, the woman owns a very big nightclub where these girls were always going during that time that my friend leaves the house, and at that place they make big cash. This was what my friend revealed to me after about 7 months of staying with her. She told me about the kind of life that goes on in the nightclub and the work they do. At first, I was so much interested since seeing the kind of money that she brings home. I decided to give it a try, and when I did, the rest was history. It was there that I started seeing all those people I respected so much. They also came to enjoy themselves with the ladies that work there. It is purely prostitution because the woman has a house just at the back of the nightclub that she uses this house as a hotel for whoever is interested to have an intimate time with her girls. So how it works is that she charges for the room, and when the ladies also charge you, she has a percentage of the charges. It was more like she has a platform and you are rendering your service on her platform. So after the service, you will have to pay for the platform she has given you. When I started, there was this particular man who always come and request to be with me only. Even when I'm not around, he will wait till I come. He became my customer, and everybody knew that no matter what you do, he would not go with you. These were men in their 40s, 50s, and sometimes even older than that. Let me tell you something about this particular client that I'm talking about. You know, brother, I'm a bad girl, but the things that this man does to me, no man has done such things to me ever in my life. Sometimes I wonder where he learned all those skills and techniques from at that age. He is almost between 60 and 65. Sometimes he will use his tongue in all my holes. I mean, even my back hole. One thing about my friend is that regardless of the kind of work she's into, she also always goes to church on Sunday, no matter what. So one fateful Saturday, after work, one of her friends called her and told her to come visit them at church. So we decided to pay them a visit at their church. That day, we dressed our best and went to this church. The church praises and worship has been done, and it was time for the pastor to come and preach to the congregation. I was pressing my phone, and my friend tapped me to look at something, only for me to raise my head to see the most shocking thing I have ever seen in my life. My client, who to me is the baddest man I have ever come across, is a pastor with even a wife and children. How can this be the kind of things that this man was preaching against? And is the exact same thing he does to me when he visits at night. So after the service, my friend and I decided to surprise him. So we booked that we will go and see the pastor. When it was our turn to go to see him, as soon as he saw us in his office, he got up and shockingly asked what we were doing in the church. We explained to him that we only came because a friend invited us, and to our greatest shock, he was actually a pastor. He jokingly said that, "Who told you that pastors are not humans and they cannot also enjoy themselves?" He asked us to wait for him, that he will take us out after the counseling section with the rest of the people. After his section with the people, he took us out to this beautiful restaurant and we had some of the best meal. After eating, he asked us what we can do for him in return. So we went to a hotel and had 3 songs with him. The way this man handled us, you will never believe that he just finished preaching to a congregation about God just some hours ago. When we went home finally, I started thinking that this was not right. At least if I did not know that he was a pastor, that would be fine. But now that I know that there is no way I was going to allow him to continue doing that with me. It does not matter if you're a fake pastor or a true pastor. The fact that you hold that title, there is no way I will have anything of such to do with you. So I started avoiding him. It got to a time he was even bribing my friend in order to see me. One day, I don't know why I answered his call. He begged to see me, so I went to the location. The reason why I even went there in the first place was that I knew I was menstruating and there was no way anything could happen between us. And I got there, and after our conversation, he started touching me. I told him I was menstruating and cannot do that. He told me I was lying, that I should prove it to him. I did just that and allowed him to see the blood in my sanitary pad. Even after seeing that, he kept on touching me till I could not resist, and he slept with me in my menses. That wasn't right. I started asking myself questions. When I got home, I told myself maybe he does these things as a sacrifice or something devilish. So I changed my number and even moved from my friend's place and rented my own apartment. Even though I have done some bad things as a commercial sex worker, this was a deal breaker to me. It was through my encounter that very day with the pastor that I felt I was doing something bad to myself, and so I needed to change my ways. With the little money I have saved, I got myself a container shop and started selling human hair. I sent for my last born to come and stay with me, and we normally go visit our family every month or two. I am planning on getting another shop so I can broaden my business. That way I can move into a bigger apartment and bring my mother and my brother to all live with me. This is my life story and my encounter with the pastor. Honestly, my whole view about pastors and even some prominent people in the society has changed since my encounter. My brothers and sisters, please be careful of those people calling themselves men of God, because the things they do behind closed doors are despicable and they are not qualified to be called men of God. Please kindly subscribe and share and like our videos. Hit the notification bell so you will be the first to get notifications when our video comes on. Thank you.